So basically, like Firoz said in the example that he's spoken about, 46,000 is the difference over a 10-year period. Mohit, is this the case only for NFOs or for a lot of the existing schemes as well?
Look, so difference between direct and regular will typically depend on what kind of a strategy a particular fund house wants to adopt, right? So if you really want to incentivize the distribution channel and if you want to push your product, so I'll give you both examples, both sides. So let's say if you have the matured schemes, let's say a Kotak Flexi Cap, which is almost like a 35,000 odd crore scheme, or let's say a Mirai Large Cap, which according to the fund house has attained a critical mass and is a fairly large scheme, right? So if you see the direct plan expense ratios in these schemes, it's very low. In fact, it's like in Kotak, if I'm not wrong, it must be roughly around 60-65 odd bips, and Mirai it should be around 55-54 odd bips, right? So which is very low for an actively managed fund with direct plans, right? But if you see the regular plans of these schemes, a Mirai will have a very high expense ratio on the regular plan, but Kotak, the regular plan expense ratio is very low, which means the distributor commission in Kotak FlexiCap is less, typically implying that the fund house is actually not wanting to push the product so much because the AUM is fairly large out there. Maybe that could be one of the reasons, or it could be other reasons also, or maybe they are trying and incentivizing the distribution on some other schemes of their fund house, which could also be the case, right? But in typical case of Mirai, you could see that the regular plan expense is fairly high, so which also implies that the fund house is equally keen on pushing the product across the distribution channel, right? So you have both examples. And then there are schemes where you will find that the direct and regular expense ratios are the difference is very little. Let's say an ICICI focused blue chip fund, the direct expense is also above 1%, roughly in the range of 1.1, and the regular expense will be 1.6. So difference is hardly 50 bips out there. That implies that the fund house is actually retaining a lot of amount as their own profitability out there, because they've kept the management expense fairly high at around 1.1, which means they want to be profitable in that scheme now. And that's the strategy. So all fund houses adopt different strategies for different schemes with different AUMs at different junctures of the life cycle of a fund, Sumera. So there's no one size fit all formula out here.